Lin Dunn posted, calling Caitlin Clark fans complainers.
After 3 boring minutes, The Rock says, know your role and shut your mouth!
We had to block out the noise.
Lin Dunn absolutely starting a war with the Indiana Fever fan base.
She said, love this, 4 types of complainers. Okay, so she puts up a post about complainers. What is going on, man?
Very disappointing that Lin Dunn went in this direction.
Lin Dunn just sparked a full-blown controversy after calling Caitlin Clark fans complainers.
Lin Dunn decided she was going to throw the Caitlin Clark fans under the bus.
We had to block out the noise, and we had to talk about, you have to block out the noise. What's happening on the outside does not matter.
And fans are not holding back.
Lin Dunn posted, basically calling Caitlin Clark fans complainers, calling Indiana Fever fans complainers. What is going on, man?
Is this a massive mistake by the Fever front office? Or are fans going too far? Drop your thoughts below. And if you ride with Caitlin Clark, make sure you hit subscribe right now.
Caitlin Clark has become a national phenom. And
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT. Just watching her passion in the game, the way she just plays with her team.
She's a good three-point shooter.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
Caitlin Clark, if you're watching this, we love you.
Because this situation is getting crazy. This whole situation started with one post, but it didn't feel like just a post to fans. Lin Dunn took to social media and shared something that instantly caught attention.
Lin Dunn hit us with one of the most legendary quotes.
After 3 boring minutes, The Rock says, know your role and shut your mouth!
A breakdown of what she called the 4 types of complainers. On the surface, it looked like leadership advice, but the timing, that's what set everything off. Because this didn't come out randomly. This came right after weeks of nonstop criticism toward the Indiana Fever, from roster decisions, to coaching, to how Caitlin Clark is being used on the court.
Yeah, you can invest your time into the team. Yeah. You can invest your energy. You can put in effort. You can invest monetarily. But when it comes to critiquing the team, criticizing how the team's built, criticizing how the front office is going about putting pieces around Caitlin Clark.
And then suddenly fans see a message labeling people as productive complainers, venting complainers, chronic complainers, and even malicious complainers who should be removed.
It says, the productive complainer. This person fully engaged, offering ideas and suggestions help improve the team's culture. They are fully invested in the team's culture. The venting complainer. This person is working hard, doing what is right, but is a tad overwhelmed and needs to vent to release stress. The chronic complainer. This person always finds problems, but there are times those problems are real. We cannot overlook this person. We need to give them the proper attention and hear their ideas.
The malicious complainer. This person needs to be removed. They complain about everything, gossip, and destroy the team culture.
Now think about how that lands if you're a fan who's been speaking out. To a lot of people, this didn't feel like a neutral message. It felt like a direct shot. Because fans weren't just randomly complaining, they've been raising real concerns. Why isn't the offense built around Caitlin Clark's strengths? Why does the roster still feel incomplete? Why does it feel like history is repeating itself? So when Lin Dunn says, in essence, stop complaining, fans didn't hear leadership. They heard dismissal. And that's where the situation starts to escalate. Because instead of calming things down, this post poured fuel on a fire that was already burning.
Now she's on Twitter starting a war with the fan base. Like, why would you do this, man? Come on, this doesn't make any sense, Lin Dunn. Let's continue though. As a leader, if we ignore complaints, we create continual problems. If we listen to everyone's ideas, we lose our direction. Dismissing complainers creates stress within the team, decreased engagement, high turnover, and damages the team reputation.
The reaction? Immediate and loud. Within minutes, fans flooded social media. And it wasn't just casual frustration anymore. It was full-on backlash. Because from their perspective, this crossed a line. Fans started firing back with one simple message. We're not complainers. We're the reason this team matters. And that's where things got real. These are the same people buying tickets, boosting ratings, subscribing to League Pass, packing arenas, especially since Caitlin Clark arrived. So being labeled like that, it didn't sit right. You had fans saying, we invest time and money, we have a right to speak. This isn't complaining, it's accountability. Fix the team instead of blaming the fans. And suddenly, this wasn't just about one tweet anymore. It became fans versus front office. Even content creators and analysts jumped in, saying the Fever are making a dangerous mistake, not by posting, but by how they're responding to criticism. Because instead of listening, it now feels like they're pushing fans away. And once that narrative starts building, it's very hard to stop. And this,
we had to block out the noise, and we had to talk about, you have to block out the noise. What's happening on the outside does not matter.
Lin Dunn absolutely starting a war with the Indiana Fever fan base. What is going on, man?
Shout out to Evelyn on Twitter. Lin Dunn posted crushing, basically calling Caitlin Clark fans complainers, calling Indiana Fever fans complainers. What is going on, man?
Lin Dunn hit us with one of the most legendary quotes.
After 3 boring minutes, The Rock says, know your role and shut your mouth!
Very disappointing that Lin Dunn went in this direction.
She said, love this, 4 types of complainers. Okay, so she puts up a post about complainers.
This is where the situation goes from drama to something much bigger. Because underneath all the outrage, this was never just about a tweet. It's about Caitlin Clark. Fans aren't speaking out for no reason. They're reacting to what they've been watching on the court for weeks. And the frustration keeps coming back to the same question. Is this team actually being built around Caitlin Clark or not? Because when you look at it closely, fans see a disconnect. They see a generational player, someone who changed the entire trajectory of women's basketball. And yet, the system around her doesn't always reflect that level of talent. We're talking about an offense that at times doesn't fully maximize her playmaking. Rotations and lineups that don't always complement her strengths. A roster that still feels incomplete in key areas. And fans notice everything. They've watched what happened after the All-Star break, when the offense started flowing better, when Caitlin had more control, when the team actually looked dangerous. And now they're asking, why not build on that? Because in today's league, we've already seen what works. The top teams don't hesitate. They build directly around their star. They create systems, spacing, and personnel that amplify their best player. But with Indiana, fans feel like it's still uncertain. And that's where the frustration turns into urgency. Because people aren't just worried about wins and losses. They're thinking long-term. They're thinking about what happens if this situation doesn't get handled the right way. You'll even see fans saying things like, we've seen this before. Don't waste another generational talent. If you don't build around her, what are we even doing? This isn't complaining. This is protecting the future of the franchise. And that's the key difference. What the front office might see as noise, fans see as warning signs. Because to them, Caitlin Clark isn't just another player. She's the reason the spotlight is even here. She's the reason arenas are packed, ratings are up, and the Fever are suddenly one of the most talked about teams in sports. So when concerns get dismissed instead of addressed, it doesn't just feel frustrating, it feels like a missed opportunity. And that's why this reaction hits so hard. Because fans aren't just speaking emotionally, they genuinely believe they're seeing a problem before it's too late.
She did come off the bench. Then she took home the MVP off the bench. I don't know why they think Caitlin Clark peaked out as a rookie. Like, she practices harder than anybody. The Indiana Fever are going to be nothing to mess with. You could say what you want, but the truth is, they are set up with a nucleus that could win a championship this year. They will be playing in the World Cup right before the playoffs. So Caitlin Clark is going to be letting her light shine even more.
Caitlin Clark has become a national phenom. And
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT. Just watching her passion in the game, the way she just plays with her team.
She's a good three-point shooter.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
Caitlin Clark, if you're watching, Clark is my idol.
Now, here's where this situation gets serious, because this isn't just about hurt feelings or online drama anymore. This could actually backfire on the entire franchise, and fans are already starting to say it out loud. Because whether the front office wants to admit it or not, the current spotlight on Indiana is tied directly to Caitlin Clark and her fan base. We're talking about sold-out arenas that weren't happening before, record-breaking TV ratings, massive social media engagement, national attention that the franchise hasn't seen in years. And a huge portion of that comes from her audience. So when that same audience feels disrespected, ignored, or pushed aside, that's a dangerous game, because fans are now flipping the narrative. Instead of just supporting, they're starting to question everything. Why should we keep investing if we're not being heard? Why support a team that doesn't value its own fan base? If Caitlin isn't prioritized, what are we even watching for? And here's the part that really raises the stakes. There's a growing belief among fans that if things don't change, if the team doesn't fully commit to building around Caitlin Clark, then the long-term future becomes uncertain. You're even hearing comments like, if she leaves, we leave. This isn't loyalty to a franchise, it's loyalty to her. Now, whether that actually happens or not, the fact that fans are even thinking that way, that's a problem. Because once that connection between team and fan base starts breaking down, it's incredibly hard to rebuild. And the timing couldn't be worse. The Fever are in a position right now where they could capitalize on momentum, build a contender, and turn this into a long-term powerhouse. Or they could lose trust at the exact moment they should be strengthening it. And all this tension, started from one simple thing: fans feeling like their voices don't matter. So now the pressure shifts back to the organization. Because moving forward, it's not just about wins anymore. It's about how you handle the people who made this moment possible in the first place.
Lin Dunn decided she was going to throw the Caitlin Clark fans under the bus.
We had to block out the noise, and we had to talk about, you have to block out the noise. What's happening on the outside does not matter.
Lin Dunn posted basically calling Caitlin Clark fans complainers, calling Indiana Fever fans complainers. What is going on, man?
So now the question is simple. Did Lin Dunn just make a huge mistake, or are fans actually going too far? Because one thing is clear, this situation is far from over. You've got a fan base that feels disrespected, a front office under pressure, and a generational star right in the middle of it all. And how the Fever handle this next could define their entire future. So I want to hear from you. Are Caitlin Clark fans justified, or is the complaining getting out of control? Drop your take in the comments right now, and if you want real-time updates on everything happening around Caitlin Clark and the Fever, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because this story is only getting bigger. This is far from finished.
She did come off the bench. Then she took home the MVP off the bench. I don't know why they think Caitlin Clark peaked out as a rookie. Like, she practices harder than anybody. The Indiana Fever are going to be nothing to mess with. You could say what you want, but the truth is, they are set up with a nucleus that could win a championship this year. They will be playing in the World Cup right before the playoffs. So Caitlin Clark is going to be letting her light shine even more.
Caitlin Clark has become a national phenom. And
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT. Just watching her passion in the game, the way she just plays with her team.
She's a good three-point shooter.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
Caitlin Clark, if you're watching, Clark is my idol.